Hi, in this video we're going to be continuing our kitbashing of a small little horror game. What we're going to do is we're going to create a mech which is going to go and do some mining when the player instructs them to do so. In the last video we created this environment. It used a couple of assets. This is the industrial drilling machinery. I also used this one, which is Castle Valley Collection, and we created a massive cavern with that big drill inside of it. So now we're going to add in some workers. And this is the asset that we're going to use for it. It's a great mining mech. It comes with animations and everything, published by Protofactor. It has a great range of models for you to use. All links are in the description. Now, when using other people's models like this, the trick is to make them fit your game. And I had a problem with this one in that it has a cab. There's supposed to be someone sitting inside, but in my game they need to be fully automated. So what I did with this one first was blacked out the windows. Next up, I wanted to create an animation controller that would do my mining. First thing I did was dropped in an idle animation and quickly discovered that the cab door is open. That's no good, obviously. This was easily resolved. I'd simply found another animation that was the same length and had the cab closed, copied the values for each of those keyframes and pasted them into the idle animation. Problem solved. To actually control the animations and the movement of this character, I created a really simple Adventure Creator interaction script. This is a simple no-code solution that comes with the excellent Adventure Creator. What this particular interaction does is it moves the character to a position called a marker that's placed in the scene, and then it sets a Boolean parameter in the animation controller which starts the drilling animation. In order to trigger this interaction, we need what's called a hotspot. This is just something that the player can go and interact with. So for now, I just threw in a simple cube, threw the hotspot on it and connected it to that interaction. And this is what it looks like. You click the hotspot and he walks up, starts drilling. Simple as that. Well, not quite that simple. There was a little problem in that if you clicked on the hotspot a second time, he would turn around and start drilling the wrong way round. So what I had to do was add an extra step into the interaction, which disabled the hotspot to prevent it being pressed twice. Good so far, but I want two mechs controlled by the same hotspot. This is easy to do. Simply add a parallel node into the interaction and then copy the movement and the animation settings and apply them to the second mech. So this is what it looked like. There's a couple of different changes here. I've added some delay on the second mech so they're not going perfectly in time with one another. And also we have some particle effects here. We've got some debris and some sparks. Really basic graphics right now, but it's a start. And this is what it looks like when they've been put into the level. So let's have a look at what's necessary to do that. I needed the lighting to be right for this area, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see what the mechs were doing. So I put some more of the same lights that I did in the last episode and just lit the area where they would be working. Then it was a simple case of bringing in all of the prefabs that I'd made in the demo scene. These are obviously just placeholder art right now. I'll sort that out in the future. Then I baked the nav mesh and hit play and found a bit of a problem. Turns out that Adventure Creator doesn't actually need a nav mesh agent, yet it does use nav meshes, and that confused me. What you can see here is the characters are actually walking under the terrain. After scouring the pretty extensive manual for Adventure Creator, I found that I could use standard nav mesh agents. I'm familiar with them, so that's what I did. I installed the new AI navigation package, added a nav mesh agent and the component that connects it to Adventure Creator, and everything worked fine. Well, almost fine. I did have to do some more work on the terrain, make sure that the nav mesh was big enough for these pretty large characters to walk around, but that was just a case of modeling, moving some rocks around and so on. Once that was done, the navigation was working fine, but they weren't stopping in quite the right place. There was something weird going on that meant they were going past their marks, resulting in them putting their arms into the wall. This one also took me a little while to figure out. What it ultimately was, the transition times in the root motion animations meant that the animation was carrying on after the animator had been told to stop, resulting in root motion moving the character too far forwards. Simple fix, make the transition much faster. After more work on the ever essential lighting, I was starting to get really happy, and this is what we had at the end. This scene is now set up nicely for the event that's going to happen, which is really going to set the mood for the entire mini game.